to take a big gamble and pump lots of money into a new film adaptation of Henry Rider Haggard's classic, highly mystical, lost-race adventure novel, She, which was published in 1887. H. Rider Haggard's book was the central model for the lost race subgenre of fantasy and science fiction. She is filled with knotted eroticism. She is fascinated by ruins, ancient civilizations, immortality, and reincarnation. The author, H. Rider Haggard, had a powerful imagination and was a gifted storyteller, and his heated, male-submissive Victorian libido creates spellbinding narratives. H. Rider Haggard's novel had already been filmed many times before, but Hammer decides to do a big-budget remake. There's a 1908 one-reeler of She from the Edison Company. There's a two-reel 1910 version from American Biograph. There's another version in 1911 from the Tannhauser Film Corporation. A big-budget 1917 version from Fox with long-forgotten silent screen vamp Vanteska Sarat. Sarat was promoted in publicity posters and lobby cards as the Vampire Woman. There's also a 1925 independent film starring the lovely Betty Blythe with intertitles that were actually written by H. Rider Haggard himself just days before his death. And there's a massive Art Deco version made by RKO in 1935 with Randolph Scott, Nigel Bruce, and Helen Gahan. Gahan plays the beautiful, cruel, and immortal Aisha. The 1935 version features amazing sets. Now, the Hammer version, directed by Robert Day, 1965, will be the first film Hammer decides to build around a female star, the tall and statuesque Ursula Andress. Now, the movie opens in Palestine just after the Great War, and, three buddies, three lovers of adventure, Leo, played by John Richardson, Holly, played by Peter Cushing, and Job, played by Bernard Cribbins, are basically enjoying themselves at a bar and getting into mischief when a sultry and mysterious woman, Ustane, played by the Spanish actress Rosenda Monteros, approaches them. Unknown to the three British buddies, Ustane secretly serves Aisha, She, played by, of course, Ursula Andress. She is also known as She Who Must Be Obeyed and She Who Waits. Ursula, She, is the undying eternal queen of a lost city known as Kuma, somewhere beyond the Negev desert in Israel. Ustane Monteros recognizes Leo, John Richardson, as the reincarnation of Queen Aisha's long-dead lover, Callicrates. Aisha had slain her lover 2,000 years earlier in a jealous rage. But this undying queen, Ursula Andress, still longs for him anyway. Ustane's story basically lures the British trio into the desert in the quest for the lost civilization. Finally, after many hardships, the three searchers entered the lost city of Kuma, just as the eternal queen, Aisha, Ursula Andress, had been planning all along. Complications arise when Ustane falls in love with Leo. He's entranced by Aisha. The eternal queen, She Who Must Be Obeyed, wants the reincarnation of her dead lover to join her in eternal life by stepping into a magical blue flame. But her high priest, Balali, played by Christopher Lee, is jealous and wants eternal life for himself. Queen Aisha, Andress, may be eternal and beautiful, but she is a cruel and selfish ruler, and does not seem to care about her subjects very much. She executes several of them, including Ustane, to get her out of the way. Ustane's father, Hamed, played by Andre Morel, who made a number of films for Hammer, he keeps the local enslaved tribesmen, the Amahagar, in check. He is very bitter after his daughter's execution and gives the go-ahead for a rebellion. There's a struggle between Leo, Bilali, and Aisha. But Aisha kills Christopher Lee, Bilali, and then Leo hesitates to walk into the eternal flame. And Aisha tells him that he must hurry, for the eternal flame must be aligned perfectly with the stars to turn blue. And the fire will only remain in this mystical condition for a short period of time. This only happens on very rare occasions. Now, as Holly, Peter Cushing, and Joe Bernard Cribbins watch, Leo, John Richardson, walks into the blue flame, and he is made immortal. But when Aisha, Ursula Andress, walks into the eternal flame a second time, she reverts to her true age and quickly crumbles into dust. Leo, now immortal, will wait for the eternal flame, the eternal blue flame's return, no matter how many centuries it might take, so that he can also die and join his eternal beloved Aisha in oblivion. Now, the Hammer version of She is great looking. This is a highly enjoyable movie, but it's erratic at times, with many great scenes that happen 1 minute and static and dull sequences that happen the next. Peter Cushing as Holly is splendid. He has a pretty good role. But Christopher Lee is wasted as the high priest and is given little to do on screen. But both actors manage to provide solid supporting performances. The film does have an epic quality and lavish sets. But the movie lacks the esoteric, mystical overtones and character development of H. Rider Haggard's great novel. John Richardson as Leo is, simply awful, and he gives a very dull and, lifeless performance. Ursula Andress and her impressive, broad-shouldered, wide-hipped, and melon-breasted physique is dressed in warm-colored Greco-Egyptian gowns, as well as gold jewelry. The actress virtually glows on the screen, thanks to the low-key lighting that flatters the exotic beauty by the gifted cinematographer Harry Waxman. Ursula Andress is the perfect Aisha. She is powerful, intense, dangerous, stunningly beautiful, intimidating, and alluring. Sadly, Hammer chose to redub her slight Swiss accent in post-production, with actress Monica van der Sal providing the voice. This was a mistake and throws the picture off a bit. Nevertheless, She makes lots of money and propels Hammer in a new direction. Hammer glamour. This is from the mid-1960s to the early 1970s. Adventure and horror films that spotlight and star beautiful women. 1 Million Years BC, 1966, with Raquel Welch, was the first movie in this new Hammer cycle. 1 Million Years BC was, of course, a mega hit that shoots Raquel Welch into superstardom. Now, a sequel to She, known as The Vengeance of She, was made in 1968, starring the Zoftig, and I'm sure utterly delicious, Olenka Barova. This was made on a smaller budget, but The Vengeance of She did pretty well at the box office. Now, I'm a very big H. Rider Haggard fan. I have many of his novels, we here at the Mysterious Angel Archive, God Rock Radio Archive, have many first editions of H. Rider Haggard, and I've been reading him since I was a teenager, and he really is a great writer. I highly recommend the romantic fantasies. They're, kinky in spots. Haggard was a, masochistic male submissive, and his psychosexual prose is very, very interesting. So I highly recommend you check out H. Rider Haggard. All right, now after the Sublime